Hello. Yes, as you said, my name is Lene Klem Olesen, and I'm a researcher at the National Rehabilitation Center for Neuromuscular Diseases in Denmark. The National Rehabilitation Center is a private hospital, and I'll now take you through some of the initiatives that we have developed targeting different groups of relatives of people diagnosed with ALS. Around every year, we get referred 150 new people with ALS to our center, and currently we have around 430 people referred to our hospital. That is around 95 of all people diagnosed within Denmark are referred to our center. We are a hospital without beds, and we do not treat or diagnose our patients. We perform rehabilitation instead. We act as a facilitator of cross-sectional collaboration, and we have physicians, nurses, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, social workers, psychologists, and we work in multi-professional teams. We see our patients in their homes and local environments to get a closer understanding of their challenges and needs. We offer patient education, and we bring people together for workshops and meetings, and with the opportunity to connect with each other. Research shows, and we also know from experience, that patient education and peer support helps families with ALS to get through the disease. For many years, the Rehabilitation Center offered a 3-day educational and networking course at a central place in Denmark at the beginning of the disease trajectory, but it was difficult to get people to come. Instead, we launched a new concept that consisted of 6 3-hour meetings spread over a period of 6 months and held locally, and here we succeeded in increasing participation. So to continue the development of education and peer support initiatives, we have received funding from the Danish Health Authority. This has resulted in the project Together in ALS, which is a targeted long-term rehabilitation initiative that focuses on participation and quality of life, targeting different groups. The project consists of 4 separate support initiatives, and I'll now introduce them one by one. The first two initiatives are a physical and an online peer-to-peer support programs for couples. Over a period of 6 months, participant meets 5 times. The physical meetings last 3.5 hours, and the online meeting 2 hours. At the beginning of each meeting, the participant gives a brief recount of what have happened since the last meeting. Then a topic is presented by a healthcare professional, followed by group discussions. And at the physical meetings, the relatives sit together and the people affected by ALS sit together, respectively. The meeting ends with a takeaway round from each participant stating their key insights gained from the following meeting, and also how they perceived the meeting. And finally, they write down topics that they would like to hear about for the next meeting. The topics are then voted on, and the topics who gets the most numbers are selected for the upcoming meeting. In the period of 22 to 23, 6 courses have been held, and we have invited between 149 to 219 people. Hereof have 57 PALS participated and 62 relatives participated, and here I mean spouses and partners. Experience from an earlier project shows that many people with ALS whose adult children participate actively in their lives would like to bring their children to the group meetings. But the challenges in doing that is that with more than one relative participating in these meetings, the balance between the affected person and the relatives will tip. Adult children who have already participated in these long-term, previously, group rehabilitation program report that it was rewarding, but that they would have liked to bring their siblings. So to make up for these unmet needs for group rehabilitation among adult children, we have designed an online program targeting young adults or adult children of parents with ALS who are living by themselves. And this is the third intervention in the package. We have held already one course, and the next one is planned to start in February 2024. And we sent the invitation to the parents affected by ALS, who are encouraged to distribute the invitation to their potential adult children living by themselves. And we succeeded in including the maximum, which is 26 adult children. And we were unfortunately to include the last 25 who showed their interest in engaging in the intervention. Yes, the intervention runs for 3 months and consists of 3 online meetings, each lasting 2 hours. The themes for the meeting for the adult children concern psychoeducation on ALS, cognitive impairment, behavioral impairments, and end of life. And also what happens when ALS becomes part of the family, and which dilemmas and feelings could you perceive as a relative. The meeting agenda has a mix of plenary sessions and breakout room discussions. And they're presented from one of the topics that they will then go into groups and discuss. We designed a survey to evaluate the adult children's experiences from participating in the intervention. And here is a quote from one of the attending adult children.
It's still hard for me to talk about and to handle the situation, and it's still difficult to talk about it with other people. It's given me something to think about and to deal with internally, and that's super rewarding, but the situation hasn't become easier, and that's not exactly what I'm looking for either. It's more that I want to understand a feeling that was strange to me before the meeting, and I wasn't sure whether it was the right way of feeling, nor did I understand what it was. Understanding that yes, it's hard, and yes, it hurts, and it's normal, it's not just me. To understand that you react and maybe actually change with time is part of it, and that when you understand the disease better, it's easier to cope with your thoughts and feelings. But the feelings, your sorrow, and the situation don't become easier, but they are easier to grasp, and that means the world to me.
Yes. And the fourth and final initiatives targeting families with children living at home is called ALS in the Family. As I said, it targets families with children or young adults living at home. It aims to strengthen the family's coping strategies throughout the disease trajectory, with special focus on the children, because we know that children and young adults living with an affected parent are at greater risk of developing behavioral or mental problems such as anxiety and depression. It furthermore aims to promote participation and enhance quality of life of the parents, and to strengthen the support to and from the family's professional network, for example, schools, daycare institution, and also their close personal network. The project gives families access to individual counseling or family counseling whenever needed, along with education and information to the network, both personal and professional network. This project also runs from 22 to 24, and we included 29 families, and all have been invited during this process, and 4 has passed away during the project period. We did a count of the subject discussed in counseling sessions, which clearly shows the need to put special focus on the children and coping strategies. Interviews with the patients and their partners were conducted after 9 to 12 months post-enrollment in the project. And here is some quotes from the patients. The human aspect. Wonderful that there's someone who focuses solely on the person and not on all the practical stuff. It means the world to me. And another one. a safe place. The rehabilitation counsellor have been my advisory board, and it's extremely important to hear that there's nothing wrong here. You're doing the right thing in terms of dealing with the kids. And family talks. We've become better at talking. It's giving us a joint understanding of the entire range of emotions, and it's been nice, and there has been a nice warm atmosphere from the beginning. To be on the forefront, the rehabilitation counsellor can sense when the time is right, and she's prepared me for some of the things that we will encounter, and that we'll need to talk about. She's good at pushing me in a gentle way. And here's some take-home messages. ALS impacts the whole family, but only one person carries the disease. Relatives have different needs at different times during the disease trajectory. And relatives seek information on ways of coping, as well as a safe place to share their feelings, thoughts, and fears with people of whom they can relate. I have also done a PhD project within ALS. I developed a palliative rehabilitation program targeting relatives, partners, spouses of people diagnosed with ALS, and where they also show behavioral and cognitive impairments. So if you'd like to read more about this, please send me an email or grab me in the post, and I'll be happy to send the dissertation and articles to you. That was all I had for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lene. Are there questions for Lene? Yeah, one over there, and also one with Gutchen. Start here.
Hi, thank you so much. That was so amazing. Just out of curiosity, did in any of the groups issues related to inherited ALS come up?
Only in one of the cases, but that was among the parent affected by ALS, that they were worried about their children and all the ethics about getting tested and what if. And in terms of this family, their children hadn't had children themselves, so it was also in terms of preparing potential grandchildren, the dilemmas of that.
Gutchen?
Yeah, thank you for this, but you are under the Muskelsvindfonden. That's right, and you operate or have a great place in Musholm. Are you not using that? Are you only on computer these days?
Good question. Yes, as you said, I'm affiliated at the National Rehabilitation Center. At the patient organization is called Muskelsvindfonden, as you said, and we have a conference center that is very, very available for disabled people, and it's called Musholm. And of course, we use that as well for conferences. And Denmark is a very small country, so it's easy. Relatively easy to get to and around Denmark with the approximate drive of 5 hours. So yes, this is online because we need to grab people whenever they have a moment, because we know they're very busy and it's hard for them to move around. So we try to make it most available for most people, and then we also have the physical meetings for the couples.
And you, yeah.
Thank you very much. I found that really fascinating. I'm Linda from California. Of course, I'd love to live in Canada. Just saying. Anyway, I was curious, in the last group you talked about family groups with young children. You said that 4 people had died. And I was curious if their family continued to go. What was the dynamic in the group when in that short period they saw what was coming?
Yeah, and perhaps I didn't describe it clearly, because for the family intervention, they don't go into groups. They have one-on-one individualized care from a healthcare professional who's a registered nurse and also a trained family therapist. So they didn't go into groups. So whenever the person affected dies, the caregivers who are left and the children still receive conversation, and we don't let them go immediately. So, yeah. But for all the other groups, they're welcome to attend the following meetings. Yeah.
And do they tend to?
Some do. And with time, we also see that they end up stopping along the way.
Okay. Thank you, Lene.
Welcome.